Now with Carter here, we're going to go into our actual chalk talk portion of our interview session. So this will be broken down to 4 quarters since we are in the sports industry. First quarter is going to be preseason, which will just be a brief introduction of yourself, where you're from, and where you work, and then one aspect of sports that you appreciate the most. And then later we're going to the training days, which would be quarter 2, and that's the early high school days and college years. And then the regular season, the third quarter, where we'll have your current role, your day-to-day, and how your life is now. And then we're going to end off with the playoffs. Gotta kill that, gotta make it to the championship. So I'm just going to end off with some career advice. So going into the preseason, first quarter, start with a name, where you're from, where you work, and then one aspect of sports that you appreciate the most.
So my name's Carter Allen. I'm from Livermore, California, a smaller city that's probably about 45 minutes from San Francisco, so in the Bay Area. And I currently work for the San Francisco 49ers, hometown team. There's one aspect or quality about sports that I appreciate the most. I would just say the fact that it kind of brings people together. I know that's cliche, but I really do think that sports are special in that way. It's kind of the one space where you can get that many people all kind of rallying around and cheering for, just a few hours on a Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whatever it is, but just kind of coming together and having that sense of community. I think that's kind of just like cool or special.
You spoke to the point of that the sports brings people together. So in your early childhood, in your early high school and college years, what did you initially want to do as a career? And then when you were younger, did you spend more time playing sports or watching sports? And then what or who was like your kind of first break into the sports industry in your career?
Yeah, so I think if you were to ask me going into high school, I wanted to play in the NFL. I thought I had a legit shot. Unfortunately, I only grew up to be 5'9", and I was average at best at football. But honestly, yeah, I did spend more time playing sports than I did watching them. I love playing sports and specifically football. So once I knew I, obviously wasn't going to be, the next NFL quarterback to come out, I still knew that like if I could ever eventually work in the NFL or for an NFL team with with football in some way, I did want to do that. And that's, ultimately what I'm doing now. So it worked out and it's been great. In terms of who gave me my first break, it really wasn't until I got into my master's program that I really started focusing on sports. And I had 2 people give me my first break. A guy named Scott Peters let me work with a company called Safe Football, trying to limit concussions in the NFL. And I had a woman named Lauren Shadid who gave me an introduction to baseball, where I got to work with the Chicago Cubs. First full-blown internship I ever had, though, where I was really like in a sports office working space day over day, would have been with the Final Four in Phoenix. That was in the spring. And that was a really cool experience to kind of see how a big event like that, a Super Bowl type event in the Final Four is really put together and executed.
So you spoke about how your internship and you getting those experiences early in college contributed to your current role now. So if a student were to shadow you for a day, what would they see you doing on your day-to-day? And then what are 2 aspects of your job that are most satisfying? And then that one skill that has kind of helped cultivate your career longevity-wise and helped you sustain in the sports industry?
Yeah, so if a student were to shadow me for a day just to see what I was doing, first and foremost, I work in the premium service department. So that's the department that sells the seats and sells the suites and then takes care of the seat holders and the suite holders afterwards. So my job is really making sure that my suite holders, my suite owners, whatever you want to call them, are taken care of. So I like to tell people that like my job is schmoozing. It's building relationships. It's, I am basically someone's main point of contact. So what you would see is really me talking to suite holders most of the day, whether it be through email or phone. I'm basically just making sure that anything they need is taken care of so that hopefully later down the road, whenever their suite lease is or their suite deal is up, that they want to come back and stay on with us and the 49ers. 2 aspects of my job that are most satisfying. I think first and foremost, like I love the building relationships aspect of it. Like I said, I think anytime we can make a suite holder happy or pull something off for them, it's super satisfying knowing that, we got our job done. And I also really like the fact that the 49ers themselves are really involved with the community and kind of some of the larger issues going on in the world, and the fact that we can kind of be a part of an organization that's contributing to that, even in a small way, it feels good. I think it's a really cool part of my job, just the fact that we're with that organization. One skill that helped me kind of find success in the sports industry, I think, is really just kind of understanding that there's going to be times where you kind of just have to put your head down and do whatever is asked of you. I think, we all know, like, intern work, might not be the most fun. As some of the stuff you do entry level wise, it might not be the most fun. You're going to work long hours. But if you can kind of have like a first one in, last one out mentality, and just know like it's going to pay off, it does in the long run. So I think that's something that I really tried to focus on early in my career, and I think it really paid off.
Which I completely agree, because you're obviously in a really great position, as you are a young man in a really high position with a really great organization. So I really definitely commend you on that. But now we're in the playoffs, so now we gotta end it off with a bang. So ending off with some career advice for our high school students. If you could go back and give your high school self one more piece of advice, what would you tell yourself? And then after attending this camp, what's the very next step that a high school student should take to prepare themselves to be in your position one day?
So if I could go back and give my high school self one piece of advice about being a professional and just grown up, I think it would be just to really take high school and college like a little bit more seriously. As crazy as that sounds, it's easy to get burnt out on school. And I think when you're young and working sounds so far off, it's easy to just kind of sometimes go into cruise control. But I really do know, like, having now made the transition stuff, hard work really does pay off. And the more you can kind of put yourself in good positions and take school seriously, take the stuff you're doing seriously, you're just going to be better off in the long run. And then in terms of if someone were looking to take my job, what could they be doing right now? Coming out of this camp, what could you do to set yourself up? And really, it kind of goes back to that advice I initially had, which is just jump at all the opportunities that come your way and start talking to people. Talk to as many people as you can. I really didn't start looking into sports until I was in college. So if you guys were to start as high schoolers, you're going to be 10 steps ahead of somebody like me by the time you do get to college. So network, talk to people about jobs you're interested in. If you see anything you're interested in that's going on, just go to it and just meet people, if nothing else. But get involved, have conversations, and it's just going to set you up, because by the time you're my age, you're going to know so many people and already have a really good feel for what you want to do, that you're going to be in a really good spot heading into your career.
All right. I want to thank you, Carter, for joining us today. I know, speaking to your point about really just meeting a lot of cool, interesting people, I know it's been a pleasure for myself to meet you, and I want to thank you for joining us on the Talk video. To all my campers here, stay tuned for more content.